Hello and welcome to watch this video about the basics of programming with JavaScript. Today we are going to study arrays. You will see that an array is such thing that can store many data items. And with a single name it is possible to access all the data items stored in an array, and you will learn that is called indexing, and we are using these brackets to index the data items stored in an array. And you will also learn that arrays have lengths, and that means that the length of an array means that how many data items are stored in it. And we will also study some array methods with which we can do things related to arrays. So I have already started to write a very simple program here, and when we want to specify an array, it can be done like this. So this could be called then an initialized array, so that inside the brackets I specify the values that go into the array. So that, for instance, if I put the values 33, 77, 444, 22, and 99, and then I add the semicolon to the end. So now I have an array that contains these 5 numbers, or we can say that this array has 5 array elements. And for instance, if I would like to print one of the element, I could write something like this. Some space there, and then I refer to an array element and I write like this. I will store this file, and now this program is stored in array test.js, and let's run it. So it prints 444, and now you can see it is now the fourth. It is, if this is the first element of the array, and this is the second element of the array, and this is the fourth element of the array. Sorry, this is the third element of the array. And you will see that it has now index 2. So when we write inside the brackets a value, we can point to some element or data item in the array. And now with the value 2, we refer to the third element. And if I change this a little bit, let's put there 0, and I save it, and I rerun the program, you will see that now it prints 33. So with the 0 we refer to the first element, and with the 2 we refer to the third element. So from this you can make this deduction that the indexing starts from 0. So this is now called the index. So the first element has index 0, second has element 1, third element has index 2, fourth has index 3, and so on. So you can think of this array like I have made a drawing here. So you can think this array like this drawing, that always when things are reserved from the, or when we specify variables and things in computer programs, they are reserved memory space from the main memory of the computer. And now when we have an array like this, sum array, so you can think that it is just something like this in the main memory, and for instance in this case there are these values 3, 3, 7, 7, 4, 4, 4, and 2, 2, and 9, 9. So an array is like this, and it, of course, the computer stores them in some kind of binary form, these values, and then by indexing we refer to with indexes we can refer to these individual elements of the array. And for instance, so you can think that in this case this sum array, this one single name, it refers to the entire array, and then when we write an index value in brackets, so we can refer to some single element, so that if I write there 0, then I refer to this first element. And this indexing is often done inside a loop, so that it's possible to specify a variable, an index variable, like, well, I could say, oh, let's specify a variable like this. And I'll write the while loop. And I will write, let's move this statement to the beginning. Oh, I will put it here like this. And I write the and I will so this would then print. Oh, let's see what this now does. I will save the program and I will rerun it. So you can see that it printed now 3 first elements from the array. So the index, when it has value 0, it refers to the first element, and its value is 0 at the beginning, and then its value is incremented after one element of the array is printed, and when in the end it reaches value 3, and then this statement or this expression is no longer true and the while loop stops. And so for that reason the last index that is used is index value 2, which is the index of the third element of the array. And for that reason this loop then prints 3 elements. And if I would put here value 5, it will then print 5 elements. And often it is very common to write like this. So it is possible to refer to the length of an array. So there is this property, each array has this property length, and it can be referred to with by writing dot and length, and then you refer that to the length or the number of elements in the array. And with this arrangement you always print all the elements of the array. Like this. And if I would add one more element there, like this, and I would save it, you can still see that it prints all the elements. So I didn't have to, although I added one more element there, I didn't have to modify this loop at all. So this is a very common way to access arrays, that you use an index variable. So this is called an index variable, and this can be called an initialized array. So it is initialized, that it is at the same time when the array is defined, it is given these initial values. Like this. And of course it is very common to index the arrays with in for loop, and well, I will then convert this to a for loop, traditional for loop, and as a for loop it would look something like so. It would be like this, and from for loop I can take this out, and I had to put a semicolon here, and then I have to take the last thing from here and put it inside the parentheses. So this is now the corresponding for loop, and I will save it, and again it works as before. And it works also if I take this one element out and save it and rerun it. You will see that it prints all the elements from the array. And it's also possible to modify the elements of an array, so that, for instance, if I write here something like sorry, now I pressed the wrong key. If I write something like this here, so let's see what happens here. I rerun the program. Now you can see that there is 111 in place of 22 there, because the initial array has these values, but then there is this one single statement that accesses the fourth element of the array and puts there 111. So what happens here is that this is destroyed, and in place of this value the program writes this new value, which is 111. So an array element, it is like a single variable. so that when we write something there, the previous content of the array element is lost, and the new value is there, and there is no way to get back the previous value stored into that array element. So this is the very basic. These are some very basic things about array, so that it is, you specify an array, for instance, in this way, and here you read the value of an array element, and here you write the value of an array element, and here you refer to the length of the array, which is the number of elements in the array. So let's take still one more look, a quick look at this other program. I have this other program open here, and you can find this program when you go to naturalprogramming.com and you select the JavaScript page, and in this list you will find the reverse.js there. So this program basically, let's run the thing, so then we know what it does. So it says this program reads numbers from the keyboard. After receiving a 0, it prints the numbers in reverse order. Please start entering numbers. The program will stop when you enter a 0. Now I enter the 0, and you'll see that it prints the numbers in reverse order compared to the order that in which the numbers were given to the program. And in this program, the array is specified like this. So we can say that there is a pair of brackets there. And this means that now it is an empty array, so that it doesn't contain any elements at the beginning. So it can be said that it is an empty array, but still it is an array, and it works like an array. And then when we start entering these numbers, they are put into the array inside this input function, and so here is the number from keyboard stored into the variable, and then this method, array method called push, is used to push the number to the end of the array. And then after that there is a test that if the number of keyboard it is 0, it means that this program must stop, and well, then there is another loop that prints the numbers in reverse order, and we first make this variable will contain the number of numbers in the array, and then we, inside this while loop, we decrease or decrement the index value by 1, and so during the first run of the loop this index refers to the last element in the array, and then this is then printed to the screen, and then some spaces are printed after the number. And this loop goes on as long as the index is greater than 0. And then we just terminate the program. But otherwise, if the number from keyboard is not 0, then we just ask for another number from the user. And note also that we always refer to the length of the array here, so that the length is 0 at the beginning, but then it grows as the program is run. So there is this array method push in use there. So with that you can add numbers to the end of the array. Oh, let's go and see. I think I have some documentation here on this page. I have some documentation about array. Let's see what is there. Because I want to see the methods. So there is also a method called reverse. And there is also this method unshift, with which we should be able to unshift method elements to the beginning of the array, to the front of the array. Let's try this. Because it should work like this. And we rerun the program. 334445550. You see that now when I change this method to unshift, it prints it doesn't use the reverse order, but it is the order in which the numbers were given. And the reason for this is that now I entered the numbers to the beginning of the array, so that they were in the natural order of the array was already the reverse order in the array. But let's say, because there was this another method called reverse. So we could use it like this. I didn't test this beforehand. Let's see what it does now. Now it's again the reverse order. So actually in this version of the program, the numbers are put to the array so that they are in reverse order. So the last number is the first, and then it is reversed with this method reverse, and then it is printed in reverse order. So this again shows that there are many ways to write these computer programs. But I think this is now a sufficient introduction to arrays. So thank you for your attention, and we'll meet in some other video. So thank you and bye.